Greetings everybody, I'm Rishabh from Learning Academy, and in this short 30 minutes video, I'll be bringing you techniques on dates in Excel. Now before you talk about any formula or data cleaning technique with respect to dates, you must understand how is date stored in Excel. For example, did you know that every date is a valid number in Excel? If it is not, it's not a date. Well, we'll talk about that. Next, we'll talk about a couple of basic formulas very quickly to brush them up, but my focus will be on project management formulas with respect to dates. For example, when is NETWORKDAYS.INTL is used? When is WORKDAY.INTL used? What is the difference between Workday and WORKDAY.INTL? Next, did you know how to calculate 5th of next month, or for that matter, how do you calculate the expiry of the warranty period of a product that you purchase? So all these different techniques I'll be talking about in this 30 minutes video, and if you find any one of them useful, do not hesitate to put your comments and love in the comment section below, and let all other fellow subscribers of this channel know that what are they in for, and just like you, they will also be benefited. So do let me know your feedback comment. Let's get started for now. In this video session, I talk about the concept of date, the way it is stored in Excel. And why should you know this? Well, if you happen to work with date formulas, or if you happen to clean the data when the dates are in the wrong format, you must know this prerequisite, the way Excel stores the date. If you don't, then you'll not be able to perform those data cleaning exercises successfully. And at times, you'll find difficulty in writing if formula with respect to dates. So let's see what lies ahead. Well, to start with, every valid date in Excel is a number. And what is that number? It's a number which says the number of days away from the cutoff date. Now, it might sound like a jargon. Let me explain through this diagram. Let's assume on our timeline, there's a date called 31st December 1899. It's a cutoff date. Now, if I write a date 2nd January 1900, and on top of that, I'm going to home, apply this comma separator, and notice it turns to 2. Now, what is this 2 signifying? It signifies it is 2 days away from the cutoff date, not including the cutoff date itself. So, for example, if I take 15th of January 1900 and I press enter, as I apply comma style, same manner to this particular date, as expected, it is going to show me 15. Now, typically you would have found this out at times when you write a formula or a date, it quickly gets converted to a number. For example, you may have tried to write a formula which is supposed to give you a result of 31st December 2011, and on your screen eventually you find the answer in this form 40908. Now, what is this 40908? This signifies that it is 40,908 days away from the cutoff date. Which date? 31st December 2011. Now, this is the way Excel calculates the date. If it is a number, it will calculate from the cutoff date how many days it needs to add up to reach to a certain date from the calendar point. Now, since it's a number, I can also validate whether it is a valid date. How? By using a formula called isNumber. For example, if I write equal to isNumber, this is a formula which simply asks whether the cell content is a number or not, and it says true. Now, why is this useful? At times, you might be worried whether the date that you are looking at on Excel sheet may not be correct date in terms of format. Now, that would create trouble, that would create obstacles when you are doing a lot of date-based calculation. So you want to check whether it's a valid date, in which case you may simply write the formula isNumber and choose the cell before it. Now, if it's not a date, it's not understood by Excel, it will say false. So I'll talk about these formats in detail a little later, but this is a formula which helps validate the accuracy of a date. Is this a number? If yes, then yes, it is a date. Now that we know that every valid date in Excel is stored as a number, and it can be verified by the formula isNumber, let's proceed to see how a date can be presented to the end user when he wishes to take a printout or wishes to see a date in a certain form. The skin of the date. Yes, how I can change the skin of a date? Well, you would have already come across such a phenomenon where you would have right click on a date, went inside format cells, something that can also be activated using the shortcut key Control 1. Once you are inside format cells, you would have picked up the desired presentation value of a date. For example, in this case, if I pick this value, it will show the date in January, then the digit 2 followed by a comma and then the year. Now this is just the skin of the date. If I double click on any date, in this case it happens to be a formula, but let's say the previous one. If I double click on any date, notice internally it is showing you the date in MDY format. Now where is it coming from? What is the origin of this format MDY? Well, if you could quickly go to control panel settings of your Microsoft PC, which I will do in my case. I'll press Alt Tab. It's there already on my screen. Now within that, you'll notice there's something called region and language. In the older versions of operating system of Windows, you would have found a consolidated word called region and language. In some of the occasions, you might also get the entire category group where you would find this clock, language and region. So what I may do is I choose the category, I say large icons, and then I specifically go to region. Within region, what I get to see is, point number 1, you can change the format from English United States to English, let's say English UK, English India, and based on that country's convention of showing the dates, it will convert to MDY or DMY. For example, in this case, I go one step ahead, I go to the additional settings, and therein I go to the tab of date, and I'm going to choose that as DMY, and let that be DMY in this case too, DMY. And I'm going to press apply button, OK, and apply, OK, get out of this setting. When I return back to Excel, notice this time when I write 22/08/2009. Now typically this is what, DMY format. As I press enter, it accepts that as a date. How do I know for sure? If I write is number formula and check for the accuracy and validity of the date, it will say true. However, had I written the same date in the MDY format this time, 8/22/2009, it would not accept that as a date. So basically the initial format DMY or MDY is controlled by the control panel settings by default, which is turned to MDY. So I go back to control panel settings, region, within which I go to additional settings, I go to the date tab, and change that to MDY format, which is the default format. Same for long date, or else I may simply go to the button saying reset. Yes, so it's coming back to the original form default setting. I press OK, apply, OK, and I close the entire button of control panel and go back to my Excel sheet. Notice the date that were entered earlier doesn't destabilize. It still is 22 August, although internally when I double click, it shows me 8/22/2009. What about this one? If I double click and then press enter, it then gets converted to the correct date. So all in all, the MDY or DMY can be changed through control panel settings. Format cells is just the skin, and every valid date is a number which can be verified using is number. This time we learn 4 formulas with respect to dates, simple formulas, mostly used in data analysis along with logical statements. Now if you have a date already mentioned in one of the cells, there's a formula which is called day. What it does, it extracts the day, that is third, 3. Now although the formula parameter says serial number, but we are choosing a cell which contains a date. And if you remember from our earlier videos, every valid date is a number. So I close the bracket and what I get is the formula day. Similarly, if I write equal to MON and press the tab key, I'm going to choose the cell which contains the date, close the bracket, and what you get is the calendar month sequence for June, which is 6. Now these formulas are generally used in combination with logical statements, where you might say if the month is less than or equal to 6, which means January to June, then perhaps take step 1. If not, then take step 2. So in terms of formula year, what we get now is as an answer year 2011. Now at times if you are getting a data in text format where the date, month and year are separated by a certain value, you may be getting those in different columns when you export to Excel. How do you combine these components into one single cell, which then is understood by Excel as date? The formula to be written in that case is date. Let me write in the correct cell, equal to DATE, tab key. First, it asks for year, which I gladly choose, comma, then month, comma, and then followed by day. I choose the last parameter, I close the bracket, I press enter. And once I do that, by default it shows me the date in the MDY format, which is the default setting for this PC. I then choose this date, I press Ctrl Shift 3, it quickly changes it back to a format which not only shows the date but also the month in JUN format. So those were 4 formulas: day, month, year and date formula. This time, let me talk about the text formula, one of the very important formulas for presentation of data into a certain desired custom format. In this case, I have a couple of dates, 3rd June 2011, which I want to present in this form, either Friday or Fri or 03. 3 indicates what? 3 indicates the 3rd of June. So the formula goes like this. Text, first thing it asks for is the value. I choose the date value. Next it asks for what is the desired format of output. So in double quotation I give DD 4 times D. I close the double quotation, I close the bracket thereafter. As soon as I press enter, what I get is Friday. Now had I put in just triple D, I would have got the short form of the day, and had I put just 2 times the letter D, I would have got the actual date 03. Similarly, I can also apply this formula if I wish to find out the month name. I choose the date, comma, double quotation, double M, double quotation close the brackets and enter. So if you wish to find just the shorter form of the month name, you would have used just 3 times the letter M. Similarly, if you want to find out the calendar month sequence of the month June, then just 2M will be sufficient enough. And goes without saying that if you had written text formula and chosen the date and written double Y in the double quotation, you would have got the year 2011. Now, what specifically is this format? Now, this format text is the one which you generally get to see inside format cells when I go to custom. So any of these format which is generally found under custom format can be enclosed in the pair of double quotation. So for example, if there is a format which I prefer to have it on my screen with respect to date, I can use a combination of DD, MMM and YYY in that sequence. For example, equal to text, choosing the date, comma, then double quotation, I'm writing DD dot MM dot YYYY. I close the double quotation, I close the bracket and I press enter. There you go. I have the date in 03/06/2011. And this is also useful when you are combining the date with a prefix word date and then you're combining with actual date. You notice it gets converted to a number. Now this will happen, why? Because every valid date is a number. So make sure that you apply the text formula before you choose the number. In this case, using DD hyphen MMM hyphen YY, double quotation close, closing the brackets, enter. So this way you have been able to concatenate or combine the word date with the date that you wish to point to in a desired format. So that was text formula. In this continued series of date-based formulas, let me now throw some light on the formula called weekday, workday, and network days. Text formula is something that we have discussed in the earlier video. Now, what is weekday? This weekday is a formula which simply asks you to choose a date, and what it gives you is the numeric digit sequence of the day. For example, if it is a Friday, it will show you 6, Saturday being 7. The day series starts from Sunday, so 2 being Monday, 3 being Tuesday and so on, and that carries till 7 being Saturday. So that's the weekday formula, just telling you the sequence of the calendar days. So there is a formula called workday which helps you figure out that if there is a starting date of a project and if you're given 5 business days to complete it, by when it is supposed to get completed. So for example, if I'm trying to write a formula called workday, I put the starting date as 30th December 2011 and then I say how many days do you need to complete the project. Let's say 5 business days, and the definition of business days as per workday formula is Monday to Friday. So I put 5 and I close the bracket and I press enter. Notice I'm getting 6th of January 2012. Now the question is, which 5 day have been chosen? Let me use a color combination. If for example 1st of January, that's a Sunday, cannot be included as a business day, I go to 2nd of January, I'm going to color that, and using shortcut key I'm going to give a color blue. Notice second day is 3rd of January, next 4th of January, 5th of January and 6th of January. So 5 business days it took to complete the project, and the deadline happens to be 6th of January 2012. Now this workday formula doesn't include the starting date, even if that happens to be a working day. So just be careful. In case you wish to include the starting date, you would have to make a manual adjustment in terms of a simple deduction of 1 inside the formula, which then tells you 5th of January 2012 being the deadline day. Similarly, as a corollary, there's a formula called NETWORKDAYS. What is it? It tries to find out between a start and end date how many business days are there. So for example, if I write a formula equal to NETWORKDAYS and the starting date, let's say 30th December, comma, the ending date is assume 6th of January. I close the bracket and press enter. It gives me 6, which means what? It is not only including the end date, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all 5 days included, but it also includes the starting date. So I'm going to give a color. So in NETWORKDAYS formula, the start as well as the end date is included both to calculate the number of business days lying between that date range. So this was a very basic formula parameters for workday formula and NETWORKDAYS formula. In the next video, I will show you that in 2010 Excel version, you would have been introduced with a formula called WORKDAY.INTL, and we will see how this is very important, especially where there are different countries which follow Saturday or Sunday both to be holiday, or could be Friday is a holiday, or could be just that only Sunday is a holiday, in which case Monday to Saturday is a business. This time we're going to learn something which is very important for project management, managing and calculating deadline dates, and also to find out that if a certain project starts on a predefined date and there are 7 to 8 or maybe X number of business days allocated to it, by when shall it be estimated to get complete? And mind you, when I say business days, it can mean Monday to Friday, it can also mean Monday to Saturday, and in different countries, Friday being a holiday, it can also mean Saturday to Thursday. So let's see how to get hold of this formula. Firstly, I have populated a very small list of dates and I mentioned the date that it belongs to. For example, 30th December 2011 happens to be a Friday. Now the project start date is 30th December 2011 and I've dedicated 5 business days to complete it. But also notice that I have one more variable added, that is, amongst the group of dates, 2nd January 2012 is a holiday. So now how do I calculate that when will the project going to end? Assuming that I do not take into consideration the starting date, that is 30th December, when will the project get completed? Well, let's find out. If the business works with Saturday and Sunday as a holiday, the next working day, which we think as Monday 2nd January, is there, but that's also holiday. So my first day is 3rd, next 4th, next 5th, and next is 6th, and since 7th and 8th are weekend, the next ending date happens to be what? 9th of January 2012. Now how do I calculate this using a formula? Let's see. I write equal to NET and I get to see 2 formulas, NETWORKDAYS, NETWORKDAYS.INTL. If you are using version 2007, you will not find the second formula because the second formula which we are going to use right now has been introduced in 2010 version of Excel. So let me type in equal to WORK, and what I get to see is 2 formula, Workday and Workday.INTL. If you are using version 2007, then you will be getting only one formula, that is Workday, not the Workday.INTL. The second formula which we are going to use right now has been introduced in version 2010. And this is something which is more powerful than the previous one. So I press the tab key. Now it asks me starting date, which is 30th December 2011. Okay, comma. Then it tells me please choose the days, which I gladly choose as 5. And then it asks me what is the weekend pattern that you follow. I would say I follow the normal one, that is 1, Saturday, Sunday. But yes, in case your country happens to follow only Monday to Saturday as business days, then I would have chosen 11 in that case. In this case, let me start with 1. Now, mind you, there's one more parameter left. It says, what are your list of holidays? I don't need to choose the columns of holiday and the type of holiday. I just need to choose the cells which contain the date of holidays. That's about it. And if I close the bracket, let me see what I get. I get 9th of January 2012, and this is the thing that we had initially thought of as an answer. Now, imagine if 2nd January 2012 was not a holiday. I delete that. The moment I delete that, notice since it is not a holiday, it's considered as a working day, and because of which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days gets completed on which day? 6th of January 2012. Imagine that this particular calculation needs to be done in a manner where Sunday is considered to be holiday, Saturday a business day. So what do? I double click on the formula, I go to the third parameter which says weekend, define the weekend, I backspace it, and I'm going to choose 11 and I press enter. Notice this time it has further reduced by 1 day. That means 31st December is a working day, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, 6 and 9 no more needed. So this is how you calculate end dates, deadline dates, and when a project needs to be get completed. And quite often it happens in a lot of vendor clauses. There are service agreements which says the resolution must happen in 5 business days or 6 business days, in which case this can also be used as a control mechanism to find out by which date the resolution had to be completed. That was WORKDAY.INTL formula for you. Just keep in mind that this includes all the dates except the project start date. So in case you want to make that manual adjustment, you can inside the formula by saying +1. So that means 6th of January, or in this case -1. So that +1 -1 days, you can do that based on your calculation. As a continuation to WORKDAY.INTL formula, now let me discuss NETWORKDAYS.INTL. This formula you would find in Excel version 2010 and 13 as of now. So what is NETWORKDAYS.INTL? Well, it tries to find out how many business days exist between two sets of date, including both start and end date. So if you consider start date to be 30th December and end date to be, let's assume, 6th of January. Between this and this date, both included, how many working days are there, assuming Saturday, Sunday is a holiday on account of being a weekend, and let's assume Monday is a holiday on account of being a separate holiday, which I'm going to write here, 2nd of Jan 2012. So now, if I write the formula equal to NETWORKDAYS.INTL, I choose the starting date, I choose the ending date, okay. Then I define the weekend to be Saturday and Sunday both, so hence 1, and holiday list is this. In fact, you can also prepare a holiday list using a named range, something which has been discussed later. I close the bracket, enter. So it tells me 5 working days. Let me find out. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, next one being 4, and this is the 5th working day. So between the start and the end date, both days included, how many business days, depending on the holidays that are included and depending on the fact that Saturday or Sunday or maybe just Sunday is the weekend. That was the formula, NETWORKDAY.INTL. It's very important to keep a track of time, and that is the reason I'm taking this module where I speak about the formula today and now, and also show you a shortcut key. How do you enter current date and time together, depending on whether you want only date or current date plus time. So first things first, a formula which self-updates every time you open the workbook, and this formula is called today, equal to today. The good part about it is you don't need to enter any parameter, just need to close the bracket and press enter. It gives you today's date. Similarly, there's a formula called now, so NOW, bracket open, bracket close, enter. This is generally used where you are considering today's date with a predefined date and trying to find the difference. That means how many days have passed by since the due date and today. Now, let me also talk about the shortcut key which allows you to enter today's date without you having to type that in and without the use of formula. So I want a static date, and that's today's date. So I choose a cell, I press Ctrl semicolon and I press enter. Now if you want date and time together, then a combination of 2 shortcut keys. One is Ctrl semicolon, then put a space, then press Ctrl Shift semicolon. That will give the current time. So date and time put together, you have today's date and time. So that was the formula approach as well as the shortcut based approach. This time we talk about a formula EO month, something that is going to be very useful in case you are in any manner connected to the field of finance, financial modeling, investment banking, accounting, taxation, and you'll soon find out why. Before discussing this formula, let me illustrate some of the questions. Question number 1. At a hypothetical level, what if I want to find out end of the current month, the month to which the date pertains to? That was case number 1. So for example, I wish to have 31st January 2012. Then I wish to have 30th September 2010. It's the end of the current month. Case number 2. What if I tell you that these are the invoice dates and the tax related to this invoices must be submitted by 5th of the next month. So I wish to have the details 5 of FEB 2012. I wish to have 5th of March 2011 in this case, and so on. That was case study 2. Case 3, where if I given certain dates, I wish to find out 1st of the current month. So in this case, 1st of September 2014. Now all this can be achieved through the formula of EO month. So let me take case by case basis. First case, I want end of current month. So I write equal to EOM. I press the tab key. I choose the starting date, and then it asks me how many months do you want to jump ahead before you find the end of the month. I say 0. Why 0? Because had I given 1, it would have said for this particular date 17th January to 17th February, and then finding the end of that 17th February date. So right now I want 31st Jan. Let me test with 1. Enter. You get 29th of Feb. Why? 17th January, jump 1 month ahead and you get end of the month 29th Feb. Case 2. I want 5th of next month. So how do I achieve this? I write equal to EOM. I press the tab key. I choose the starting date and then I put 0. As expected, it's going to give me end of the current month. But wait, I'm just going to add plus 5 towards the formula end, and that will give me what? Yes, 5th of next month. Notice any kind of calculation which involves 5th of next month, 7th of next month, 15th of next month, you can apply this formula. Case 3, where if you want to find out 1st of current month. So how do I put that formula in? Let me write equal to EOM, tab key. I choose the starting date. Now I give -1. What is -1 going to give me? Well, it's going to give me 31st of August 2014 in this case, which means it is jumping back 1 month, saying from 23rd September to 23rd of August, and then 23rd of August it takes as a benchmark and then finds the end of that month. Now, this is not the answer. The final answer is when I simply add additional 1 day towards the end of this formula, which means now 1st of September 2014. So notice how these combination can quickly change the scenario using simple formula EO month. Another formula from the date cluster that is one of my favorites is EDATE formula. And let me illustrate through various examples where EDATE formula can be used. Now take for instance, on 1st of January 2012, a certain lease expired, a certain agreement expired. Now there are two ways within which I need to find out that it needs to be renewed. So the agreement might say within 30 days of expiry of the date, or it might say within 1 month of the date expiry. Now these two are very different things. If you take for instance 1st of January 2012, and if you want to find out 30 days from now, you can simply choose the date and add +30, correct? Enter. But if you want 1 month hence, then the meaning is 1st Jan, then go to 1st of February. Now this will become more prominent if you take a date of the month which doesn't have 30 days. For example, February 14th. From 14th February 2012 to 15th March. Notice it is a 1 day's gap because it is calculating 30th days. Now same thing, if I calculate using a technique called EDATE, it's going to give me an answer 14th of March, to which I may deduct or add 1 days for grace. But that should be based on my discretion. So let's see how this is achieved. I go to the cell, I write a formula EDATE. It asks me the starting date, which I gladly provide, and then it asks me how many months do you want to jump. Now when I put 1 and I close the bracket, it says from 14th Feb jump to the next month 14th of March. So this is how EDATE at a basic theoretical level calculates. Now let me give you 2 case studies. Case study 1, where if a person has joined a certain company, if he sticks around for 5 years, continuously, he's going to be given a loyalty bonus. Now when I wish to calculate that, I don't want to choose the date and then add this combination of formula which says 5 years into 365 days. Why? Because 365 days is a number which doesn't reflect the leap year which might occur in one of the 5 years. Correct? So now I use equal to eDate. I choose the date and then I wish to jump how many months? 60, because 5 years has 60 months in total. So 5 into 12. Do not simply write 5 because that will be taken as months. So hence 5 multiplied with 12. So on 1st January 2017, this particular employee will complete 5 years of his employment in that company and hence eligible to get a bonus. Similarly, if I go to the case 2, let's say 60 is the age of retirement. So if the starting date or date of birth in this case happens to be 1st of January 1976, I want to find out when is this employee going to turn to 60. So I write eDate, I choose the date, then I put 60 multiplied with 12, which means 720 months. So on 2036, let me simply change the format from here, Control C, and here either go to format cells or go to pay special what? Format, okay. Now 2036, 1st January is the date on which he turns 60. So any kind of a date based calculation, 1 month from now, 30 months from now, 60 months from now, you can use eDate formula, and I've given certain examples. Please do go through them, and this is where our eDate formula stands.
If you have watched the video till now, you would have understood that I've added a lot of new techniques apart from the ones that I mentioned in the earlier stages. So hope you love this video, and do show your love through comments and your subscription to the channel, and then I will bring more such videos and hope to benefit you all through my knowledge. I'm Rishabh signing off from Your Learning Academy this video, but I'll come back for more.